Be here and get ready to work out. So let's go ahead and start with our usual here of we're sitting or standing up nice and tall. I want you to visualize that space in between each of your vertebrae, right? Roll the shoulders back and down. Okay, and we're going to chin tuck for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Maintaining that nice elongated spine. We're going to head turn to the side, back to center, to the other side, 5 each direction. Here we go. Turn, center, turn, center, turn, 3, turn, 4, turn, 5, turn, 6, turn, 7, turn, 8, turn, 9, and turn, 10. Good. All right. So next we are moving into our warm up. Okay. 30 seconds of work, 10 seconds of transition. And we're going to start with our cat-cow. So remember, your 2 options are to either be at the edge of your seat, okay? You put your hands on your knees and you can round and tuck the chin from here, trying to create curve in the spine, and then untuck and lift up, okay? So you have your seated option, or if you prefer to take it up a notch, you can use your chair, rest your palms on your chair, and you can round and curve, and then untuck. And just a side note, I thought this, if you have wrist issues and you'd like to do this, you can always come on your fist, okay? And place your knuckles here, and that takes the flexion off your wrist. So that's another option there if you just, want to do it on your knuckles there instead and keep the wrist extended straight. Okay, so that's our first exercise. Let's get ready to start, okay? In 3, 2, and 1, cat-cow, seated or standing. I'm doing the standing variation. And you're really trying to stay connected to the movement in your spine. Feel that flexion and extension, okay? Like we're dusting off the cobwebs on the spine after laying straight, for hopefully 8 hours plus, right? 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Next, we're going to our 4-count cherry pickers. Okay, so your feet are coming outside of your shoulders, whether you're seated or standing. If you're seated, we're going to be at the edge of our chair. We're going to go out, middle, in, up. Okay, or standing, reach out, reach middle, reach inwards, and up. Okay, you're going to feel this nice stretch through the back of the body. You don't have to touch the floor with the fingertips. You're just kind of reaching out, middle, and back, okay? Two, and time, okay? And next exercise is our seal jacks. So standing, you're right here, okay? And seated, we're right here. Okay, so you pick which option works better for you. All right, you should feel a nice stretch through the front of the chest and shoulders. Feel your shoulder blades working to pull together in the back. And we're firing up our glute meads here and our adductors. And let's see, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, good. Next we have total body extensions. Remember, this is where we kind of act like we're going to take a jump, and then we just bring our hands up here, okay? If you're advanced, maybe you want to come up onto your toes, but that's up to you if you want to take it to that level there. You can just come straight up. All right, this looks the same seated. Okay, go at a pace that's comfortable for you. You don't want to feel dizzy, okay? And your fingertips should feel like the end of a swing step. right there. It's a lot of momentum in the arms here. And one, okay. They're sneaky. They get your heart rate up pretty quick, okay? Next one is our cross body twist. So we're just you know, enjoy it, okay? Twist, you're standing, you're pivoting on that back foot, okay? Again, we're waking up the spine in this horizontal direction now. The cat-cow is our vertical direction of waking it up, and now we're just waking it up horizontally. If you're seated, very similar here. Not as much toe pivot because we're on our seats, but you're still keeping up that spine nicely. 2 and 1. That's round 1. We're going to go through that sequence 2 more times, starting with our cat-cow, seated or standing. Okay, I'm going with the standing variation here, using my chair as support. Remember, if you have sensitive wrists and they bother you, you could always come to your knuckles here to keep the wrist straight. Overall, whether you're seated or standing, just really dial in on the spinal flexion and extension that you're creating, okay? Two and 1. Okay, we're going back to those 4 count cherry pickers. I'm going to do it from the side. Remember, the outside, the heel of the foot is outside the width of your shoulder, okay? Here we go. From the side, I'm reaching outwards. I'm reaching middle. I'm reaching inwards. I'm coming up, out, middle, in, up. Okay, so we're warming up the back side of the body here. If you're standing, you're especially going to feel the back of your legs warming up here, okay? We're also warming up our hip flexors and getting our body to produce that hinge pattern movement. And time. Okay, going back to glute medius and adductors, all right, and chest stretches. We're going to go into our seal jacks here, seated or standing. Let's begin. All of these you can take at a pace that's comfortable for you. If you're advanced, you might even throw a couple of regular ones in, okay? That's just an option to kick it up if you're there, okay? You don't have to do that. Woo! And remember, this time is a guide. If you need to take a little break, you need to stop early, start a little late, you do that, okay? Quality over quantity. All right, next one. Total body extensions, okay? Looks like we're going to take off and jump, and then we just come up, okay? There we go. You can do this from your chair as well. Now remember, those fingertips, there's a lot of momentum there. It's like a pendulum, okay? It's all about your hips going back and then thrusting forward. If my tempo looks too fast, slow it down, okay? See that? Slow it down, okay? They're sneaky. Your heart rate goes up. You don't even realize it because there's all this momentum involved. 2 and 1. Last one, that cross-body twist. So working on our spinal cord again here through thoracic rotations. So here we go, twist and twist. Should feel good, right? Feel like you're waking up that trunk of your body here. Remember, our spinal cord houses our central nervous system, okay? That's where every nerve is connected into your brain, goes down your spinal cord into every part of your body here, okay? It's like it's like, you know, the very important part of our body here, okay? So doing all of these movements help keep that in good function, okay? Final round through, we are going back to our cat-cow, seated or standing. Really focused on that movement. You're not forcing it, you're taking it through the range that it is currently in. Two and 1. Excellent. Okay. 4 count cherry pickers for the last time. So again, remember those feet, my heels are outside of my shoulder width here, okay? Here we go. We're going to reach it outwards, middle, and in, up, out, middle, in, and up. Good. Halfway through. We're going to go into our seal jacks next. And time. Okay. Final round of these seal jacks. Okay, so we get this nice elongated stretch through the front, and we're pulling those shoulder blades back. Okay, here we go. And those legs come down to the side. You can either come up like this, or you can tap it. You can tap the toe if your balance doesn't feel particularly strong right now. Okay. You can do this from your seat too. Five more seconds here. And time. Okay. Back to our total body extensions. Remember, it's like we're going to take a leap forward, then we just come up. Okay. If you're advanced, bring it up to your toes. And if you're somewhere in between, keeping your heels on the floor and coming up to your toes, you're somewhere in between, maybe you do 3, 2, 1 on your heels, and then on the 4th one, you come up to your toes. And then back to 3, 2, 1 on your heels, and then the 4th one, you come up onto your toes. Okay, time on that one. You can create your own pattern of what works best for you. All right, last one here, cross body twist. Ready? Here we go. Just really waking up the trunk of our body here. I always love these rotational movements. I feel like they feel so good. Again, if it ever feels a little too intense, you feel too dizzy, you know, take a break, go to your seated variation if you're not there already, okay? Just listen to your body. 2 and 1, okay. There's our warm up, guys. Let's go ahead and get a drink, okay? That was 10 minutes of work already. All right, we're gonna get into using some weights next, if you have them. Remember, 2 filled water bottles, 2 soup cans, you know, anything like that could also be, you know, if you don't have weights, you could do that. And if you don't have weights at all, pretend you're holding a pair, okay? Because that's just gonna help keep it, the integrity of the movement. So our first one is our alternating knee raise with our bicep curl, okay? All right, just like we've done for the past 2 weeks, our seated variation looks just the same, okay? Our second exercise is going to be our hinge and upright row. I'm adding a calf raise to this one. So from our seated, we hinge, upright row, calf raise, okay? So your standing position is hinge, squeeze the glutes to come up, upright row for shoulders, bring the arms down, and then onto the toes. Hinge, upright row, calf raise, okay? 3 exercises in one. It's a nice fluid pattern now, okay? After that, we are going to our tricep kickbacks with our hamstring curls. Here's our standing variation, okay? I'm keeping my foot flexed here. I'm thinking of my heel coming back towards my glute, okay? And when my arms are extended, I'm thinking about squeezing this back part of the arm. Squeeze, okay? And if you're seated, I'm on the edge of my chair. The only difference here is your toes tap back, okay? All right, toes tap back. My legs are kind of extended long here, so I can get a good range to tap back, okay? The upper body movement is the same. And then finally, our last one, I am switching up. The last 2 weeks, we did a chair squat with a calf raise. You see, I added the calf raise earlier on. Our last one is going to be a sumo or plie squat. So if you're standing back of the chair, you're going to hold on to, think of a ballerina holding onto a bar. Okay, that's what I want you to visualize in your head. There's a bar there with a mirror, and you know, you're coming wider wider. You can either come to the side, just like this, or if you need two hands, you can come right here, okay? My heels are wider than the shoulder width of my shoulder width. My toes are facing outwards. My knees are gonna lower down in the direction of my toes, okay? And then drive up, down, drive up, down, drive up. I want you to notice something. When I come up here, I'm not all the way up, right? I'm not locked out through my legs. It's almost a shorter rep. You lower down to where you can, and then you come up, but you're still engaged here. And then you lower down again. So think of it as almost like a half rep, okay? Driving through my heels. So that is kind of our newer one here today. All right, and then your seated variation for this is we always do an abduction to leg raise, abduction to leg raise, okay, as our seated variation. So round one, I will do seated, okay? Remember, these are longer now. They're 12 minutes long, 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of recovery. That is our guide. You know that if you need to take extra rest to do that, okay? We are starting with our knee raise and bicep curl, seated or standing. All right, so let's get ready. In 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. So I'm curling and I'm knee raising. Curl. Think of squeezing the biceps, right? When you do this. Okay, biceps right here, right? Squeeze. We use our biceps a lot throughout the day, okay? Very used muscle. We're getting core engagement by lifting that one leg up. And we're working our hip flexors. Excellent. 10 more seconds here. 2, and 1. Okay, we're getting ready for our hinge to upright row to calf raise. Okay, I'm going to do this one seated, round one. I'm towards the end of my chair, so I have room to, hinge forward here. And here we go. My weights are at my side. I'm going to hinge forward. I'm going to squeeze my glutes to stand, to lean, come up again. I'm going to upright row, bring it back down, and then come up onto my toes and then lower. That's 1, okay? So hinge, up, upright row, down, calf raise, back down, okay? Up, upright row, up, calf raise, down. So it's 3 exercises that we put into a sequence, and it's got a nice fluid movement pattern to it, okay? It's functional movement when you integrate different muscles to work, okay? 10 more seconds here. 2, and 1. Good, okay? Next, we have our tricep kickback with our hamstring curl. So if you're seated with me, I'm towards the edge of my chair. I have more, my legs are a little bit straighter, right? And I'm going to tap my toes back. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. Tap. And this actually, you're actually getting another bicep curl in here too, right? Because when you bring those arms up before you go back into your tricep extension. Okay, so remember, when your arms are extended straight, you're really thinking about telling your mind to tell the back of your arm to squeeze and engage that muscle there, okay? Your mind-muscle connection really plays an important part in your exercise training. Whew. 2, and 1. Excellent. Okay, our last one is our plie squat. Okay, so you're going to hold on to the back of the chair. Your feet are nice and wide out. Your heels are outside your shoulder width. Okay. Now remember, it's kind of almost like a half repetition. Okay. Here we go. I'm doing the seated variation, so I'm going to abduct and then flex. Okay. So what I'm doing looks a little different. but I'm targeting the same muscles in this sequence. Remember, if you're doing the standing variation, remember when you're coming back up to standing, I want you to think of pushing your weight in the heels of your foot. Drive your heels down into the floor to help engage your glutes as you lift up. And time, okay. So we are back to the top again, all right? We're going into our knee raise and bicep curl, and I am going to move to standing for the next 2 rounds. You don't have to if you're seated and you'd like to stay seated, okay? Here we go in 3, 2, and 1. So here I am. You move at a pace that's comfortable for you. And quicker is going to give you more of a cardio response. Slower is going to give you more of a core engagement response. Okay, so either way is fine, right? You pick what works best for you and what is more, goal oriented. Are you trying to lose a little extra weight? You might want to go a little quicker. If you're trying to really strengthen your core, you might want to slow it down, okay? 5 more seconds. And time, okay. Next, we have our hinge to upright row to calf raise, okay? 3 separate exercises that move into that flowing pattern. I'm gonna do it from the side profile. All right, remember those hips push back if you're standing, okay? So here we go. We're gonna hinge, squeeze the glutes to come up, upright row for the shoulders, bring them back down, lift up onto the toes and back down. So it's like a 6 count total, right? We're integrating muscle groups, right? Which is what you do in everyday life. When you are moving boxes and doing different things, you integrate, you use your upper body and lower body, right? So this translates into things you do in real life. And time, okay. Tricep kickback with that hamstring curl, okay? Seated or standing. Remember, if you're seated, make sure your legs are extended a little bit longer so you can tap that toe back. And if you're standing, we're flexing the foot so the heel comes back. Here we go. Remember, 45 seconds is our guide. You can always start or stop late. Another thing I want to say too is if you start to feel like any one of these given exercises starts to feel too intense, you can always take it back to, but you don't want to stop. Take it back to a cat-cow, right? In our warm-up move, and work on just, it's almost like a massage for the spine, right? So if you just need a recovery exercise, something feels too intense, just go back to a cat-cow, okay? And time, all right? So next, we have the plie squats, okay? So like right now, if this plie squat feels too hard and you don't want to do the seated variation, go to a cat-cow, okay? You're going to benefit from that massage spine. So here we are. I'm pressing my heels into the floor. I'm feeling here and I'm feeling here, okay? I'm not coming all the way out of block. I'm not, my knees and my hips aren't fully straight at the top end. I'm keeping a little bit of tension there. Good, we're almost there. We have about 5 more seconds. 2 and 1. Woo, okay. One more round through, guys, okay? One more round through. So we're going to our knee raise and bicep curl for the final time here, okay? Get your drinks as you need them. All right, 2, 1, here we go. 15 more seconds here. Woo, feeling it. And time, okay. Going into our hinge, upright row, and calf raise combination. 3 exercises in one. All right. My feet are underneath my hips, toes are forward. I'm going to hinge, pushing my hips back, keeping a neutral spine, squeezing my glutes to stand up straight, upright row, and then calf raise. Hinge, glute squeeze up, upright row, and calf raise. So we're working the tops of the shoulders with the upright row here. Good. 5 more seconds here. 2, and time. Okay, tricep kick back with the hamstring curl, okay? Whew, this one gets my heart rate up. Might get yours up too. So here we go in 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to kick back. Again, when my arms are lengthened, when my elbow is straight, I'm really thinking of squeezing in, engaging the back of my arm. Halfway. Good. 10 more seconds. Whew, feeling it. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, all done with those. Here we are, last exercise. We're going to do our plie squats. Remember, if you're seated, it's your lateral tap to leg extension, okay? Otherwise, heels are outside your shoulders, okay? We're going to lower down, knees come out, and then we're going to squeeze the glutes up, okay? Pressing your heels into the floor as you elevate up, okay? And I'm not coming to lock out my knees and hips. I'm keeping a little bit of bend. That keeps more tension on the muscle, okay? Means you're engaging the muscle for a longer period of time and you're working it harder, okay? Woo. 15 more seconds here. Remember, the harder you push your heels down, when my body's coming up, I'm pushing my heels down, the more you're going to feel that in your glutes. 2, and time. Take a rest, guys. Nice work, okay? Go ahead, get a drink, recover. We do have another 12-minute block coming up, okay? And like I said, remember, with any of these exercises, if it's feeling like the intensity is just a little too high, I really suggest, here are my 2 recovery exercises I would suggest to do instead. Come back to either you're seated or standing cat-cow, right here, okay? Or you can go into thoracic rotation, okay? These are such good movements for your spine that that's what I would suggest. If you're like, you know what, this particular exercise is not agreeing with me, go back to something that's restorative for your body, okay? Okay, so next what we have is our alternating front raise with a glute kickback, okay? So for our seated variation, it's the same movement as the last set that we just did with the legs, where we're going to tap the toes back here. I'm a little more extended, okay? And I'm doing, if my right foot is tapping back, hopefully that actually looks like my right to you guys. I never know with these, okay? My left hand is coming up, okay? So I want you to do that opposite hand foot pattern, okay? If you're standing, it's more of a full, like a leg, a hip extension. See that? I'm kicking back. I'm feeling my glute work. I'm extending through here, right? So it's a kick back, and then my opposite hand is coming up for a front raise, okay? So after that, we are going to do I'm going to give you two options here. A sit squat for the standing, curl and press, okay? Sit squat, curl and press, okay? If the overhead pressing, not everybody can overhead press, okay? So don't do it if it creates a lot of acute pain, okay? Just go into your sit squat, bicep curl. Sit squat, bicep curl. Take this overhead pressing out if it's pain, okay? Now your seated variation is going to be leg extension, bicep curl, or curl press, okay? One of those two. And our last one here, not done with our dumbbell punches or, you know, body weight punches. I'm nice and wide with my feet here from the seated position. And I'm imagining I'm boom, 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 boom. Okay, I'm punching a pillow, okay? Our standing variation, I'm wide. Right? See my legs are wide here, and I'm pushing my hips back, okay? So from a side view, boom. You see that? Okay, so the shins are relatively vertical. The diagonal comes in the thigh, okay? Boom, boom. You should feel really stable in this position with a wider leg. It should feel comfortable, okay? Boom, 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 boom. If it doesn't, if it hurts, go to seated, okay? All right, so that's it, guys. Enough explanation here. We're gonna get back to work, all right? Starting with our alternating front raise with our glute kickback. Remember, the seated variation is more of the bent knee kickback, okay? So here we go, opposite hand and foot pattern in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. So, working the front of the shoulder. The shoulder has 3 muscles in it. It's got a front muscle, a top muscle, and a back muscle. We're working the front one right here. Good, halfway. Starting to work up a sweat. Takes a little time, but I'm starting to, that accumulated fatigue starts to set in, right? It's not uncommon for it to start to feel a little more intense the longer we work out, right? Two and 1. Okay, now we are going to our sit squat, curl, and press. My feet are about hip width apart. Okay, I'm going to tap my glutes down on the chair. I'm going to stand up and then curl and press. If you're seated with me, here we go. We're going to leg extension, curl, press. My knuckles stay out to the side, okay? Remember, if that overhead press is too much for your body, just go with the bicep curl. Or maybe even do it body weight. Maybe, you know, you have range of motion where you can lift your hand overhead, but weight feels painful, right? Just understanding the difference between acute, sharp pain and exercise discomfort, right? Sometimes hard exercise can be a little uncomfortable. That's okay if you can bear it, you know, but pain that feels like it's going to hurt you is not okay. All right. Next we have our, oh, you know what I forgot to talk about? Our lateral, you guys remember lateral 2 steps. I skipped over an exercise completely, okay? So if you're standing, you're going to, let's get started. We're going to have to show you on the fly. Step, step, knee. Step, step, knee. Okay, so we're going to keep those elbows close to the rib cage. Okay, keep it standing here. I'm going to go to seated. So step, step. It looks the same seated. Working on shoulder health and posture here. It's a small movement, but shoulder external rotation is really important to keeping a healthy shoulder. 2 and 1. Okay, now we are at the dumbbell punches. Remember, we're going to go wider with the feet. We're pushing the hips back. We have a neutral spine, okay? And we're going to go ahead and act like we're punching a pillow. Right? It's kind of like, think of a piston, how pistons boom, 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 boom. You feel a little bit of rotation through your thoracic spine. You think your elbows pulling back. You can always get rid of your weights if it feels too intense. Whew. Good. 10 more seconds here. And then we start over from the top. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Back to the top, and I am going to move to standing. Our alternating front raise with our glute kickback. Remember, it's our opposite hand and foot that move at the same time. So here we go. Ready? Begin. So I'm going to kick back and front raise. Okay, I'm going to come to the front. Oop, that's wrong. Okay. So you get a nice hip extension in the front and a glute squeeze in the back, as well as working the front of the shoulder here. Also working on core stability. This is very similar to a dead bug or a bird dog in a standing position. Less than 10 seconds. Woo. And time, okay. Next we are at our sit, squat, curl, and press. Take the overhead press out if it's too much, okay? Or if you're seated, you're doing your alternating light extension, curl and press, okay? Here we go. So my feet are about hip width apart. I'm gonna tap my glutes down, squeeze to stand up, curl and press. Bring it down. Tap. If you want to increase your challenge of your sit squat a little bit here, I want you to imagine, I'm sure we've all had some point in our life where it's been summertime and somebody's got leather seats and you sit on leather seats in the summertime when you have shorts on, you know that burn? I want you to think of that, like you tap, you're like, woo, you got to get back up right away, okay? So only do that if you feel ready for it. But that's a way to really just kind of intensify it, is to try to tap and then lift right back up. Okay, next exercise, lateral two-step. I got a 90-degree bend at my elbow here. Okay, we're going to externally rotate to the left as we two-step to the left. All right, so here we go. Left, left, right knee, right, right, left knee. Again, I'm sorry if that looks backwards on Zoom. Since it looks right to me, but whew. Good, 10 more seconds here. This is also like an isometric bicep hold, so you might really start to feel your biceps working here to keep that weight, those elbows flexed at 90 degrees. And time, good. All right, last one here is those dumbbell low punches. Again, seated or standing, my feet, my heels are about shoulder width apart, okay? That's gonna help give me nice stability as I push my hips back slightly. Look how nice and neutral my spine is. Try not to round over, right? And punch. You should feel a little bit of thoracic twist. Make sure you're breathing through your exercise. Definitely takes up the intensity when you're holding your weights. If it feels too extreme, either go to your seated variation if you're not there already, or you can get rid of the weights, or you can stop early, okay? It's your workout, it is your body. 3, 2, And time. Okay, we have one more round to go through. Okay, one more round. So we're back to the top with our alternating front raise and our alternating glute kick back. Remember, opposite hand or leg and arm. Here we go. So, seated or standing. If you're standing, you know, your leg extension, your leg is straight when it kicks back. There's not really any knee flexion. That helps you target the glute maximus, the largest of our glute muscles. Woo! Everything we're doing now is the last time we're doing it. 10 more seconds. And time. Excellent. Okay, all done with those. Next, we have our sit, squat, curl, and press, or your alternating leg extension curl and press. Remember, take the press out if it hurts your shoulders, okay? Feet are about hip width apart here. I'm gonna tap my glutes down onto the chair, squeeze to come up, curl and press. Tap. And again, I'm really pushing my heels into the floor when I stand up, right? That's going to help create that mind-muscle connection in the glutes. My knuckles are out to the sides here. They're facing either side of the wall. So I'm in a nice, it's called a neutral grip. Good. 5 more seconds. Whew. And time on those. Okay. Back to our lateral two-step with the external rotation for the shoulders. Okay. So remember, it's just a lateral tap to the side if you're seated. My elbows are tucked into the rib cage, right? I'm gonna step together, knee, step together, step together. So we're strengthening these little external rotators in the back of the shoulder, and we're stretching them in the front of the shoulder, okay? This helps us stand up straighter. Three, 2, and 1. Excellent. Final one for this block. We are back to those low dumbbell punches, okay? So again, nice and wide with those feet, about shoulder width apart. You kind of pop those hips back ever so slightly, okay? Here we go. Punch it out. Like you're punching a pillow. Punch, punch. We're working our back, our heart, our obliques. You move at a pace that's good for you. If you need to slow it down some, by all means. Again, this is your workout. Everybody's body is different. We're past halfway. We're going to take a break and move into our last circuit after this. Whew. Hopefully you're feeling the heat like I am. Whew. 5 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Good job, guys. Take a rest, okay? We've got one more block to get through. It is only 6 minutes long, okay? It's going to be shorter. It is going to be conditioning. So again, I always want you to keep in mind, our best one day to the next is not, progress doesn't always look like this, right? Sometimes progress looks like this, right? So if you're having a day where you're like, oh, I killed it last week, but today I'm not doing as well. That's okay, right? Have grace with yourself, a little bit of grit and grace, right? And go back, like I said, go to something restorative, okay? Go to a cat-cow, okay? Or a thoracic twist, and do something that's restorative for your body instead. All right, so
our last one is our kind of like our thoracic twist in our warm-up, our cross body punches. Now, what I want you to focus on, whether you're seated or standing, is to really ingrain the same rhythm and muscle pattern. Your hands, your fists always stay right up here in front of your nose. So every time your arm comes back, it comes through that same line, right? It gives you direction on either side. See, if you're not thinking about that and you're just kind of like, you're not really, it's not giving you the same muscle connection as if you always come right back to the same position. Okay, that's gonna look the same seated. You're probably just gonna have less foot pivot, okay? And then after that, we have our 3 knee repeaters. So 1, 2, 3, back, back, forward, 1, 2, 3, back, forward, okay? Now, it looks the same seated, but we don't do back, forward because we don't need to set up for the other side. We're already there, okay? So that back, forward is only for the standing, okay? And then our last one is our speed skaters. Okay, we are pretending we are ice skating, right? Tap back behind, okay? So tap that foot. You see how like right here, there's like a little bit of, I've got rotation in the body here, right? Okay, only go through your particular range. And if you want to intensify a little bit, if you're there, you can give a little hop. I'm not gonna do it because as soon as we put a new carpet down, this one's kind of slippery. I'll take the whole carpet with me. So, and then seated, you're going to be at the edge of your chair and you're just going to tap that toe behind the calf. Okay. All right. Heart rate's going to go up on these. It's 30 seconds of work, 10-second transition time. These are all body weight movements here. Okay. Let's go ahead and finish off our workout with our alternating cross body punches to start. Remember, we start here and we come back here, right? Fist right in front of the nose here, okay? Ready and begin. Here we go. The more repetitive we are with coming right back to the same start and stop point, the easier it's going to, that mind muscle connection, that coordination factor is going to be. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. 3 knee repeaters. Okay, if you're standing, remember you've got to do your switch off, your back, forward. Okay, here we go. Kind of reminds me of like, if you have like you're doing yard work and you have a big stick you're trying to cut in half or snap in half. You use the knee to break it. 10 more seconds here. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Final one in the circuit is our speed skaters. Okay, speed skaters now. So in the first exercise, we have the upper body rotating. Now in this third exercise, here we go. We have the lower body rotating. We move forward and back, side to side, in rotational movement patterns, okay? Every day we do in some way or another. And that's why we train that way. We make sure we move in all those different directions so that we address every movement pattern and muscle and time. Okay, back to the top. I am going to move to standing for these next 2 rounds. Going back to our alternating punches here. Okay, remember, fists always come back to the tip of the nose. Gives you a definitive start and stop point. Move at a pace that's comfortable for you. We have less than 10 seconds here. You can always slow it down or speed it up according to your needs. 2 and 1, okay. 3 knee repeater, okay? Good. Here we go, 2 and 1. 1, 2, 3, back, forward. Good old step aerobics. Good, less than 10 seconds here. That's it, and time, okay. Speed skaters are next, bottom of round 2, right here, okay? In 3, 2, here we go. So see how having that back leg wrap around the back. Now the bottom, our bottom part is rotating, right? We're engaging the glute medius, the side glute, right here, 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 okay? Three, and time, okay. Final round, guys. We are done after this, okay? Take your drinks if you need to. Remember, on a scale of 1 to 10, I hope you're feeling around the 6, 5, 6, 7, somewhere around there. Here we go, last time. Remember, 1's like you're watching TV. 10 is like you're being chased by a lion. You should be somewhere in the middle. Middle or just slightly above. 5 to 7 is what you want. Two and 1. Okay, all done with those. Knee repeaters are next. Whew, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Let's finish these guys off. 2. Woo! These are fun. I like this last circuit. I find this whole last circuit fun. Makes me sweat, but that's okay. 3, 2, and 1. All right, last exercise, guys. We're almost there. 30 seconds of speed skiers, and we are going to stretch it out. Okay? 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Tap and tap. I'm going to show you a side view too, just so you see it from my side here. See, I have a little slight forward lean. I've got a slight bend in the hips, a slight bend in the knees. Nothing's locked out. 3, 2, and 1. Woo, all right, we did it. Great job, guys. Let's take a moment to get a drink, and then we'll do a few light stretches to cool down. Excellent. Whew. So our first stretch after you take a moment is going to be our forward fold. If you're okay with standing, the back of your chair is great, and the reason why is not only does it get your posterior chain, which is the back of your body here, but it also really stretches out through your shoulders. Okay, you know, the idea is trying to get your arms somewhere around your ears here. Okay, you can add slight movement, just kind of bringing your hips to one side and then the other, and feel how that stretches out. Now, if standing is not really working for you here, what I want you to do is I want you to create some space between your legs, and you're gonna lift your arms up and then just drop them down. And you're going to do this if you're seated with a rounded spine. See this? All right, you're gonna feel a nice stretch through your spine here. Okay, so that's your seated variation right here. Good. From there, let's come on up. All right, and let's go ahead and we'll get our groin and inner thigh today by our seated variation is I'm towards the edge of my chair, so I have room to extend one leg out, right? The other leg's bent, and kind of wiggle and feel around where you feel stretch, the edge of your stretch here. Remember, we're not forcing it to, extreme measures here. We want to feel that the muscle is lengthened, and then we want to relax into it. Okay, so it's not about stretching it as far as you can. It's more like lengthen it and then relax into it. Okay. Good. Let's bring that back to center. Same thing, other side. Okay, I'm like at the edge of my chair so I can get the most, range that I can here. Okay, and then one side may feel different than the other. We're not symmetrical, so one side might feel tighter or harder on one side and easier on the other. That's okay. None of us are symmetrical. Again, we're just lengthening. And from that point of the lengthened state, we relax into it. We do that by breathing. Good. And then we'll come out of that. And now we just got the inside of the groin here. Now we're going to get the outside of the hips here by doing our figure 4 stretch. So we're going to go ahead and cross one leg over, flex your foot, because keeping this foot flexed that's up here helps protect this knee. Okay. I'm pulling, think of that marionette string, that puppet master pulling you up nice and tall. And then just gently, it doesn't take much range of motion as you lean forward to feel that stretch right through the outside of the glute here, okay? Small range of motion. I'll show you from the side. All right, so here I am sitting up nice and tall. And then I move, this is about as far forward as I move. And I'm like, oh, okay, there it is right there. I feel that, right? Okay, good. And then relax out of that. And take our other foot, cross it over the knee, flex that foot, okay? Lengthen through the spine, and then just gently and mildly hinge forward and feel that stretch. Remember, you just want to feel it lengthens out through there, and then you're trying to relax into it. It's like trying to stretch something too far can lead to injury. You know, you think of if you have a rubber band and you try to pull it too hard, it's going to snap, right? So it's not, your stretching shouldn't be about forcing it into a lengthened state, right? Wherever it wants to go to is your range. And by breathing and relaxing into it over time with consistency, it gets, easier to go further and further. All right, come out of that. All right, come back to center. All right, we're going to inhale it up. Palms together. Exhale to heart. And again, inhale it up. Palms together. Exhale to heart. All right, guys, another class in the books.